I'm just gonna go get some crystals to keep me going. Bit of rose quartz, guys. A little bit of fun stuff just to start this off on a sweet, sweet way. I don't know how ASMR artists do this. Thank you, Trizzy. I'm like way too freaking fast for these things, but I'm trying anyway. How you guys going? This thing is supposed to keep my focus, actually. I'm so drowsy. Let me know if this is helping. Beautiful little rose quartz that I got from a store ages back. It's like 3 years old by now, I think. Wait, 2019. Almost 3 years old. How you guys going? What's happening? I'm here to talk about attracting a woman via the attraction mindset, and also to talk about any big questions that you might have. I actually finally DM'd my people in the chat, so I'm hoping some will come on. Sending all the love. Anyone got any goals so far? Like, I literally say Happy New Year to anyone these days, because it's like legit until what, the 10th, right? So any questions or comments, goals that you guys have, sentiments or vibes, let's connect, and you can tell me how it's going. This is a safe space. You can pretty much talk about anything, and I can help out. A bit itchy. May or may not be a muzzy bite. I also just had a DM with one guy, one of my friends, and I asked him how he managed to propose to his woman. These things take a lot of planning. He was actually thinking about it as of last year, apparently. But the lockdowns have not made life very easy. So, that said, I don't know if I'd want a guy to pop the question around a really egocentric harbor like our Sydney, so yeah. Yep, I am going to have to put an antiseptic tonight. I got bitten. Anyone else want to have a chat? My gosh. Let's take it to 20 people. 20 people online. Come on, guys. Have a chat. See where you are going. Otherwise, I will take this one out because I need to keep focus. Lots of respect to the ASMR artists. I don't know how they do this. I have like no patience. I'm just doing this purely for the live to keep myself here. Bishesh, how's it going? I'm going to talk about attracting and keeping a woman as a date, to connect with you guys and answer any big questions you have. Right now I'm waving a rose quartz into the camera so that I can keep my focus and also send you guys some love. Bought this ages ago. I think it may have been, it wasn't Aldi, it was some other store, but it came with a rose bottle, a rosé. It's fantastic. And now my arm hurts, so I'm going to stop. Ugh. So yeah, I come on explicitly to connect and chat. If you've got any other questions, let me know where you're coming in from, guess my star sign and age, and also tell me what's been happening and how I can help you out. And thank you in turn for the likes, shares, comments, follows, gifts, and yeah. Anyone else feeling like super drowsy today? Today is a very gloomy day. So, if you guys want to have a chat, talk about something. Wait. I actually did not feel. I haven't had the TV on since New Year's actually. It was such a big night. I came back and all I wanted was peace. Bishop says since she's not talking and calling me, I'll like. Yeah, thank you, Musty. So what's the question? If ever someone's not connecting with you, that means that, well, there's a few things going on. But most of all, it's the fact that the trust is potentially not there and the connection is not needed either, which means you have to move on from that relationship / take a break. But if there's no communication, then that's it. You know, there's no desire to be in that relationship. I hope that makes sense. Because the only way you can have a relationship is if you communicate and you have the trust. So if both of those seem very challenging, then that person's challenged since / you have a few things to work on. So I hope that makes sense. It's always a tough answer, like the tough clarity to get from a dude, especially when he's like working way too much to get someone's attention, or you've got too much investment into one person, or something like that happens. The easiest way to do that is just to let go, step away, give some distance, give yourself some love, do whatever the heck it is that you wanted to do in the first place, and then go from there. But you have to let go first. You can't actually go in there asking someone back. I hope that answers the question. I'm really enjoying the peace right now. New Year's has really disturbed me. It's just like she is a bit teenager, so I think she's just looking for fun. Well, there you go. That's your answer. Actually, teenager or no, if there's no communication, full stop, time to move on. We always get like bogged down with age and maturity. The thing is, age has nothing to do with it. People can be 17 all their lives. Like, me and a girlfriend actually know a guy who's in his 70s now, and he's about to go into his 4th divorce, or he's just about to have it. It's very messy. And the man cannot be on his own, and it shows. So, yeah. 20. You gotta let people have a bit of a life. If you cannot be her friend first, then I think that's a very bad idea. And I know I'm talking on TikTok, and I know there's a lot of messes out there, but I'm here to clarify and help you choose a better quality love life. Not to fight for one, if that makes sense. It's more of a 2 cents, but I'm glad you like them. So yeah. But what the heck is so like appealing about this person that you have to keep on like focusing on that person? Because if there's no interest, no trust, no communication, then like why be into that person? They're not on your wavelength. Like they're not on your maturity length. Like you deserve to be with someone else, and they deserve to be with the right person for them. So for the record, I am aiming for 1,000 followers. I think I'm very close to it. I'm at like 980, I think. And I will be taking guest requests only through an application. You got to tell me where you are and what I can actually clarify for you so that I can actually help the collective. That's basically how I roll. And I take these lives fairly seriously. I don't want people to come in and see some crappy quality live. Like I want it to be helpful and I want it to be insightful and resourceful. So that's the reason why I'm doing that. Yeah. Also, fun fact, I was just about to order an Uber for food, and then I decided not to because it was taking me a long time. I wanted to get nachos, and our local nachos place is apparently closed, so that's no nachos for me tonight. I would have even picked pasta, but didn't want to pay more than 25 bucks, so yeah. Evolution. Yeah, we're enjoying this piece way too much. It's gonna put on some music, but no. So, any other questions? Or you want to connect or find out stuff? I am so drowsy. What's happening in my life? Can you play a song? No. I am on the very edge at the moment. And, well, not on the edge, but like just in general, like 2022, we've got plans and stuff, and I hope to see my family at some point, but at the moment it's just annoying because it's just waiting for stuff to start moving and all that, so. Yeah, so I am based in Sydney. I'm an author, coach, and blogger. I have had a couple of beachy days. You can tell by the sunburn, which was actually a bit silly. I knew that I was probably going to get sunburnt, but I was really enjoying the beach and I did not want to head off yet, so that's what happened to me. You probably may have noticed because I made a TikTok clip on where I was at. And yeah, I've just started the shop for the clients and the students, so you're more than welcome to check out what's been happening. Ooh, Vishesh, thanks for the follow. So, and, you know, at the same time, I have so many other things to get on with, but, you know, lazy summer brain, I swear to God, it's a thing. Hey, Gary, what's happening? Did you see my message? I don't know what's been happening, but I'm glad you're up. How are you, mate? What's in the shop and for students? Well, it's basically about how to become whole and like confident in approaching women, which is basically my offer. And it's to do with both attracting a woman, keeping her, getting into a commitment with her. I've got tons of people watching me, both mentors and older guys as well. So you'll get courses. There's one-to-one with me, coaching, also mentoring. I'm up for that as well. And the courses are like fairly brief and like short-ish in helping you develop the skills and necessary traits that you need to be in a partnership and basically attract that woman that you need. I did, thank you. I'm in isolation. Oh, yeah, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, it still feels like we're in lockdown. Like there's a lot of places that I'm not going to just because cases are out, so. Yeah, so I do have one free guide. It's actually at the top of the link in bio. That's called Become Sexy as Fuck. And it's basically all about how you can get over whatever the heck is in the back end in order to be your best self right now in this present moment, in order to be attractive and confident and sexy and just leading. And then I'm looking for about 3 more guys to fulfill my masterclass, which is basically 3 videos and then a couple of group coaching in order to confidently talk to women. So, hi, Michael. Woohoo! I've got some regulars in here. It's a party. No, I do not smoke. So, yeah, fun times. So I'm I'm aiming to have a few more guys come in to do the private sessions with me this week, to go into the next week, and then basically the masterclass, I'd be nailing down a time for the group call, like, as of this month. So sometime this month, so that you guys can actually have a deadline to work towards, because there's a whole bunch of downloads and videos that explain stuff in order to approach women confidently and actually know what to say on a date. I covered that as well. Like, it's what the charges are. There's a table. You'll get to the charges once my sessions are 150 an hour, but the courses are different depending on what they are. So you have to look into that and like check out what the content is like, and if it resonates with you and you feel like you really need it, that's when you go into it. Has the pandemic had an effect on your business? I wouldn't say business, I'd say sanity. Like for all of us, everyone is online and everyone's trying not to lose it. But to be honest with you, I've had a lot more guys ask me about how the hell to get out there and socialize and have a chat after developing anxiety through the lockdown. So I actually helped that as well. Had a man just about to start work with me, and then he unfortunately got a bit sick. I hope he's better now. But he was also looking at ways to start chatting to people and, you know, approaching people after developing social anxiety, which we all have, which is very normal, but you want to get out of it. Where can I find it? So, I will, guys. Wait. What is this thing anyway? I'm going to try and put in, right, so comment. I'll try to put in a comment and topics. So, wait. Where do I put the
Just said join.
fine? So, where's my commenty comment? Link in bio via. What the? God damn it! Something just went away. Link in bio via. So I don't know why, but so I just made that comment. I will push in topics later. Do you have courses if you have too many women in your life? By that you mean in the community or actually going out with too many women? Yeah, so all you do is just like go into my username and then through Instagram, and then you find through the link in bio all the offers that I have. But yeah, I don't get the question. Too many women like to go out with, or too many women in the community, or because there's never such a thing as too many women. There is a thing as not enough boundaries, because that's what it sounds like to me. Too many dates. Well, Magic Stick, why would you agree to too many dates? There must be certain insecurity and certain validation in you that needs to be on that many dates, because you think that, oh, if I go on that many, then I have like this many choices. It's actually such bull dust. You need to actually pace yourself. And that's how you actually find the partner material. It's not going through a quantity of things. In the dude world, it's all about quantity. But when you become the man and provide for stuff, it's all about the quality. What's your background? And a question mark. Well, thanks for asking, Gary. I'm born in Ukraine. I came to Australia when I was 4. I've been raised in Sydney. Then my family split. They remarried. My mum remarried a Swiss German, and that may or may not be why you might detect a slight Dutch accent in me, but actually it's Swiss German. Sort of. I don't really speak it all that fluently. I just know how to get around, mostly. Kind of. Green-eyed, hello, hello. How are you? Michael, hi, hi, hi. Magic Stick, I am not available in that way, mate. I've had tons of thirsty DMs and whatnot. Like, do I have to bring my rings out again? Because that's the only way to get people to realize that I'm not available. So, yeah, guys, the answer to your love life is not going out with a bunch of women. It's actually to select the woman that you want to research. Because the men that I've noticed who have very successful relationships, they usually know exactly the criteria that they're going for, exactly the kind of life they want, and they know who's going to complement that, / the person that's going to mostly complement their life. Thank you, Michael. And by researching her and her habits and everything, they know exactly what to expect, they know exactly what to deliver, and they know exactly how to satisfy that person. Happened to my mum, happened to another girl who one of my guy friends actually just got engaged to. It's pearls of wisdom, I'm all ears tonight. That's exactly why I'm here, green-eyed. Well, it's good you have a partner because that's what you're selling. Do you know what? The other day I was actually in my bed going, universe, does it matter whether I have a partner or not in terms of what I'm doing? And I got a big fat no. Negative. My skills and tips, guys, have helped men from all kinds of walks of life, from 18 to freaking 60, apparently. Get over stuff, start getting more into their self-love a bit better, know how to provide for people better, like all that kind of stuff. And I do not need to, at some point, I will probably say yes to a guy. I will have to bite the bullet, so to speak. I've fought very hard to get to this point where I'm actually happy with myself and my lifestyle. And that's why I'm going to enjoy it for a moment. And then later on, or at whatever time period, I'll see fit if a guy can be with me and if we can build a home together. That's the whole point of this, right? How do you stay faithful? You decide that you want to be faithful to the person that's worthy of being faithful to. No, it doesn't matter if you're attached or not. Is this little thing attached? God damn it. Ooh, I'm having a really good life here. Finally! The universe answered my prayers. Perish the thought of having to say yes to any guy. Do you know what? I have nothing against saying yes to a guy. The thing is, once you've got that relationship going and that rapport building, you can definitely commit to any person that you choose because you already know each other, you know how each other vibes. You have a certain non-verbal agreement, you have non-physical cues to pick up on, you know what you're each expecting, right? So that's the really cool part. But if you don't and you're jumping around, well, I'm just trying to call, and you should, but this live is first. Yeah. Is it natural for people to sleep with only one person for 50 years? Only people who are discovering for themselves and also trying to figure out what works will ask that question. I've never had a man who's committed to a woman for a long period of time, and I've asked around, actually say that it is natural to sleep around. They actually see the good side, like the pure potential, like the positive part of, in fact, committing to one woman, appreciating that, creating that home. Like, it takes a lot of work, but they would never say that it's okay to sleep around. In fact, they know exactly what's on the line, what's at the expense, if in fact they do that. And they know it's also a stupid thing because it's all about trust building. So yeah, I actually got to 1,000 likes before. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. One of my like biggest TikTok dreams is to be up in the rankings, but it's more about connection and saving lives here for me. Thank you very much, Michael. I think I love my partner, but I have a strong urge to spread love. Define spreading love and define what the heck it is that you want with your partner. Half the time, I believe that we get a little bit confused when we get hit by the hormones and the feels, and we think that we need more people around us. What's actually going on is we are just being washed away with a lot of adoration for that person, and all we need to do is just discipline ourselves and commit to appreciating that person every day, because love is a job. Love is appreciating and supporting each other basically every day, in many ways. There's many ways to do it, so I love all of hate my partners equally. You guys sound Muslim. Christians don't say stuff like that. Anyway, cool. So, any other questions that don't deal with polyamory? Well, we are amazing together, but my natural urge is to see other women. Any advice on how to keep things spicy? We gotta invest. Everyone wants a spicy love life, but no one wants to invest. And by invest, I mean work on things, like find out what each other wants, find out where to go to have a fantastic time, which doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. Everything that goes towards trust building is naturally going to come to a sexual connection, a sexy time, a spicy time. And that said, I'm not sure if I believe in the whole prop thing, but what if it's a one-way street? Well, it's got to be two-way, otherwise what are you doing? A relationship is a relationship. A relationship is a relationship. Sometimes I have to repeat things for people to get it. Thank you for the share, Michael. I love this. I love having like several followers who just get shit and just like support everything. It's great. Thank you guys. What's your training? It is through the link in bio via Instagram. Well, actually, it's here if you press into the username and then you go through IG. Mostly because I can't figure out how to link up my thingo to TikTok. At some point I will, but not yet at the moment. Basically, I have a couple of things going on. The personal coaching is actually a session of between about 4 to 8 weeks. There's ongoing stuff, but I give you guys like 4 weeks to actually figure out where you are in terms of everything. I've noticed that the minute I've gone past the value call and you know what's up, you know where you want to go, and then I give you some advice, you tend to process that. And so within about a week or so, you already have different ideas of where you want to be. Like, you'll have a goal, but then I'll give you so much clarity and insight and information that you'll have all the stuff to digest. And then by the time we start working, you already have a freaking completely different outlook on life, and the change is going to be monumental. But then up to that, I am like very open to extending the support of the one-to-one. And then the trainings that I usually have, so I'm going to make them every month because There's about 3 lives, there's a stack of them, lots of insights, very simple instructions on how to meet women and approach them in a very awesome way that makes you very confident and empowered and competent and sexy as fuck. So that's what's going to happen, and the masterclass usually runs pretty much ongoing as you like it, because you got the info once you sign up and your details are paid, etc. But the group call is going to be probably once per month. I'm saying probably because at the moment I've just put it out there, but I feel like it could be extremely effective, because then you'll get to talk to other people who've gone through the same experiences, and it's going to really ingrain what works and what doesn't. Like, I give you the choice, basically. I give you the choice, and that's what's been happening. What study have you done? Gonna have to be a bit more specific than that, dude. I'm a blogger of about over 5 years now. I've researched a lot of things, and I've asked a lot of people stuff on relationships, dynamics, being very introspective on myself as to what works and what doesn't. Then people started asking me for help, and that's how I got here. I wanted to start charging for things that I was already doing. It's a lot of work in every session. A lot of work. Like, I pack a punch into those sessions. But I want to help out, and I care a lot about you and how you're dealing with life and where you're going with that. And that's kind of part of what I'm doing. Anyone have any other questions so that I can demonstrate my expertise and help you out right now with a woman? And none of this polyamory crap pisses me off sometimes. Do you believe you have to live and experience the advice you give, or just textbook it? Oh, mine are not textbooks, mate. Have you heard anything textbook from me so far? Because that's the last thing I want to do. On a relaxed note, favorite red wine. Ooh, I like this question. I think I just put into the recycling. But the last one's been Two Churches from South Australia. South Australia is so bloody easy, though. Two Churches, Cab Sav. I think it's either 2019 or 2020. I think it's 2019. Fabulous taste for what it is. What's yours? Anyone else a red wine lover here? Thank you for all the press ups, Michael. Love it. I appreciate it. I know it's not easy either. My hand can't even these days. Like, I'll be tapping some ASMR artist that I'm watching, and then I'm like, ugh, can't deal. Can't deal, I tell you. South Australia is my go-to red. It's so weird, though. Like, I have my sparkling rosés. And then I'm literally going like, great, what else am I getting? And so I get like a red, but it should be a white, but for some reason I need the red way more. Like, I need to relax, help with the digestion, you know. Not that I have any problems, but thank you so much for the love. Oh my god, I think I'm about to get to 2K, thanks to you, Michael. Green Eyed, I'm simply wondering, where does the experience come from? You're 31 in a 4-year long-distance relationship. So I get this question a lot from people going, how the fuck do you know what you know? And the relationship is a personal thing, but actually it's to do with the fact that I'm very intuitive, highly experienced, and highly researched. Like, you hear from me, and you usually hear a truth that no one else is going to tell you. Like, some other guy I was watching on the live the other day was like, oh, I'm just sorry, buddy, because someone made a comment about how he misses his girlfriend, but she's like heading off. And then the guy goes, oh, I'm so sorry, buddy, you know, the sexual attraction's no longer there. And I'm going, there's way to it than sexual attraction. Like, this guy, I would not give him, like, I would not give him the leash for relationship advice. I would give me relationship advice. You can look through my testimonials, both through the website and also through the highlights on Instagram. Like, I've helped people realize how to communicate, how to be better within themselves, because that's what I've done. I've gone through all the freaking mental health crazinesses, gone through the splits, gone through the divorces, gone through, and I mean that through my family. I have not gone through splits and divorces. Just my first love. I had a heartbreak when I was about 21. And then after that, I promised myself no more relationships until like I have more life experiences, so that I can actually bet on myself for the next risk that I make in a relationship. Because I thought that my first boyfriend would be the one. We were very serious. So there's a few things that came in that changed a lot. So yeah, Michael, you are the bomb. But also, it doesn't say 2K yet. Guys, I would appreciate you and your support if you can keep tapping that screen as well. I am beyond blown away by the amount of support I get through here, you know that. So as I was saying, there's a lot of splits, a lot of divorces, lots of travels. The reason why my friends were asking me for advice is because they looked at what I'd gone through and they were like, you're still functioning and you're alive. Like, can you help me out? And that's how I got here, more or less. So, thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. And I would have to say I agree. It's really one word, guys. I'm a fighter. I have Cossack blood in me. I don't tend to give into BS when I see it. And when I see it and I feel it, I'm like, no, I'm not going to give into that. And because of that, because of people seeing that I'm a truth seeker, they tend to ask me questions like, I'm not artificial, I'm not fluffy. There's plenty of people giving fluffy information out there. Part of the reason why I enjoy being a dating coach is because I don't get these complex situationship specific type of questions where I'm like, what the hell's actually going on? The biggest I've had so far were the political ones where it's like, oh, my ex or my girlfriend is in a relationship with another guy and she says he's toxic. How do I get her back? And I'm like, first of all, what makes you think she's available? So I start off with those things, but thankfully I don't really have a lot of those. The guy that I'm right now helping out actually just got over his ex or is getting over the ex, and it blows my mind because part of the reason why he's paying me for it is to actually get ready for marriage. But getting ready for marriage and getting your ex back are completely different goals. And so I said, I can't get you your ex back, but I can help you attract women after purging, doing some self-healing work, rewarding yourself for certain things, giving yourself long-term and short-term goals. This is, by the way, all the things that happen in the private session. I'm not making anything up. And a couple of things, these are actually in a couple of freebies that I have, but I also give them out to my clients as I see fit. So all of that accelerates their growth and figuring out who they actually are as men. Michael, you are goddamn holy mother. You're a legend, mate. Thank you so much. So all of these are happening, and the reason why you come into these sessions is to actually accelerate that growth, because I already know where you gotta be. I take on clients normally when they know where they are at, what their goal is, and they're not in that funky mind state of like, is love for real and blah, blah, blah. They know what they want. They also know that they want to get to it in record time, and that's exactly where I come in, because I actually help you get there. The trainings are in, they're very hardcore. And when I say hardcore, it means that there's a lot of purging. You will feel like crap at some point because you have to confront yourself and you have to let everything out. You can't just be like trying to figure out the distraction points. That's not what I do here. But at the end of the day, I've actually had so much appreciation from men because of the fact that I give them that space to be and also challenge themselves to figure out, okay, how can I be a better partner, better lover, better father, better grandfather? Half the time I actually get guys going like, you know, oh, don't you need stimulation in a long distance relationship? And I'm like, is that going to help you become a good partner? Half the time, not really. So accent is awesome and confusing at the same time. I don't blame you, mate. I actually own the exoticness by now. I was told that, I was told some time ago when I was in my early 20s that I was exotic, but I have only just started owning it because I see the advantages of it. And you can too, by the way. Hey, Timmy, what's happening? My gosh, Michael, you're still going. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I gotta tell you, you're always exploring and you're always clicking on Google in order to get a manual on love. It doesn't really work that way. But I can tell you how to actually approach a woman confidently, become more assertive in what you want, go after your purpose, become a high-value masculine man. A high-value man mindset is actually worth its weight in gold because everyone is screaming for one. Every guy I know is screaming for one. And that's exactly what I actually give you guys, because I give you that little bit of turbo boost to get into your purpose, to wipe out any distractions in front of you, and there's going to be a ton of them. Clean up the environment, know how to handle yourself in conversation because social skills are a must. Networking is a big deal. And also just sort of figuring out what kind of woman would complement what you're going for, as opposed to trying to complement someone else's lifestyle, which wouldn't really make you a high-value man mindset. Notice that I haven't said alpha or beta yet. I actually kind of sort of make fun of it, and I have been in chats with other male coaches where they're like, dude, you might deny the alpha male mindset. And I said, I don't deny it. I just distract, I get away from it to give you guys some space to feel bigger than what the world might have given you. And the world does not want you to be big, because that way it's easier to control you and manipulate you. And that's pretty much half the time that what I see coming up. Guys that are judging themselves and being taken advantage by women and their families, it's insane. Like, I've seen some very nurturing, highly intelligent men try to get themselves out that hole, and then they meet me and they're like, holy crap, what do I do? And I'm like, don't judge your journaling, for instance, and also boundaries with family and friends is a big deal. That's half the time what I see is the biggest deal of all. Like, women will set the challenge in front of you, and that's exactly the kind of woman that you're gonna marry at the end of the day. The one that's gonna be challenging you to be bigger and better and a great provider. Not the ones that are gonna be like, okay. Those are the status seekers. Those are the ones that don't give a shit about you and your well-being. Half the time I'm challenging a guy, it's mostly because I see his higher self and I see where he could be, but I care enough to actually make a point and go, what the hell are you doing? And get somewhere first. Does that make sense? Yes, I know, relationship coach, all the poets, incredible! Exclamation mark. Oh, I do love exclamation mark with smileys. Michael, 3K, you're awesome. I think you're my new likes guy. Also, quite frankly, guys, you could pitch in too, but I'm joking. I'm not here for that. But I appreciate it big time. But why would I even be in the man space, right? Sometimes I feel a little bit overwhelmed because I'm like, why the hell am I telling guys what to do? I'm not. I'm recommending, I'm suggesting, and I'm also educating. But I always give the choice. In one session, I asked a client of mine going, do you want to have the high value man mindset? And he said yes. And he was coming from a background where the woman was usually wearing the pants, and it showed because he was usually in the passive energy. And I was showing him how to be a bit more confident and assertive, just like he wanted. But it took a little bit of discernment, and it also, I mean, we're not quite done yet, and I can't wait to see the real results, but right now they're mind-blowing because he's eliminated everything to do with his ex, he deleted everything. I mean, that takes a lot, so I'm not gonna lie. Also, it's a bit of a tricky case because I don't normally help guys out with the exes, but in this case, yeah, you get special cases. I'm a curious person, so I'll try to get you to 10K likes. Oh my god, dude. Brothers, help this guy out. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Bruce Lee. Wow, you look like a friend of mine. Good. And it's predominantly entertaining but educational as well. Guys, I aim to make it fun and informative at the same time. And then there's another word in there, but that's basically the gist of it. So, I got told the same thing by a girlfriend on the phone the other day. Like, I was just literally cooking, saying random things on the phone because I was appreciating my food and whatever. And she's like, this is so random, but in a good way. And I'm like, I'm happy to hear that. It's light humor. It's genetic. So, yeah, that's more or less what I do. The whole point of it is there's a ton of unethical business people out there masquerading as coaches, and I can tell because when people are done with their products or services or whatever, people are freaking confused, and it breaks my heart to see that. Because love is, for me, the biggest passion I have is showing you that love is accessible. And when I see unethical business people, doing dumb stuff, like they've got the best marketing in town, but their products will leave you thinking that you have to place someone in order to get attention. It doesn't work that way at all. Far from it. I used to be a playgirl myself. I know what's involved. It's either for power or if it's for love. And I'm giving you all that information at the drop of a hat. Love has no boundaries. If you're talking about the form of it, sure. If you're talking about how to get to it, yeah. I think the biggest role models that I have, especially the closest ones that I have, that showed me what love can do or what it does, it's all about that form of forgiveness and acceptance and nurturance, like at all odds. Like, it's not a 3D thing. This is not an earthly thing. This is a very heavenly, sent from above type of thing where you're like, how is this even possible? Where it is, it's a stack of guys whose stories are like, I didn't deserve this woman, I didn't deserve her forgiveness, I didn't deserve this or that, but the woman freaking loved them in the end, and it sort of saved them as well. It's also kind of the little juice of a romance novel when a guy can screw up badly enough, but the woman will choose him, and in order to be with her, he has to prove himself every single day. Which is kind of more or less the hero complex, but that doesn't mean you have to do it too. Just putting it out there. Love does not judge. Mostly. Most hardest challenge. That depends on the situation, my friend. I don't think that love is the biggest challenge. I think love is the freaking easiest thing in the world when you accept it and reciprocate it. Why are there drag racing cars on my street? Anyway, I'm not on the main street, guys. It's always a problem. Talked myself into a hurricane. Thank you for the shares, loves, and follows, guys. I feel like I'm finally, after a couple of years of training, finally getting the community I wanted. It's amazing stuff. Love's enemies everywhere. Oh yeah, I'm also a very spiritual person, guys. Hope to tell you. I feel like my battery's at 90%. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. The other thing is that I feel like the biggest medicine of all that I can give you is not just that space to be and succeed, but just like the fact that I believe in masculinity at a time when like everyone's very bitter and disappointed about it. But I see guys that do want to chase, do want to choose the love of their lives. They do want to build that home at all odds. They see the glories of it all. Half the time you'll see two advantages. One is the spiritual principles, and the other one is following a good family modeling system. The guys that have those usually are the most successful, which means you kind of have to get one yourself to boost you up. Because as I see, there's plenty of guys who are developing anxiety from thinking about the future, so they have to release that, give it up, and remember that God's in charge, if you're Christian, etc. Believing in a higher entity seems to work a lot. And also commitment doesn't happen without a lot of faith. And right now we have a faith crisis. That's what we have. That's what I would actually say. And it's an unpopular opinion, and I've talked about it before. But you cannot commit without having faith that things will work out. Because guys are dealing with so many like fears on top of, dealing with projects, women, jobs, etc. And I get that, but since you do not actively choose a role model that can show you what will be possible if you just try hard enough, it can be very soul-destroying. Love can't be controlled, it hits when it hits. Well, for you guys it has to hit because you guys got the testosterone going. For women, they knew it for a long time. Tell you what, I waited probably a couple of months before my first boyfriend actually asked me out. And I also knew more or less when my last guy was interested in me. I knew energetically he was interested in me. I remember going up to my flat once upon a time, and I felt this very distinct boyfriend energy around me, and I thought, what the... We didn't talk about it. But the guy does not like disturbing status quo, and he doesn't like getting rejected because he has a monumental ego, so that's the status quo that we had a few years back. But if you learn to love yourself first, then it becomes easy. That's right. Let's face it, this community of 2 to 8 people has been relentlessly faithful, Anna. They've been great. You guys have been great. Bruce Lee, you sound like you could be Greek. I don't know a lot of people who talk about agapo, sagapo. The only reason I know of it is because I've been friends with Greeks for a while. My friend looks like you, named Angela. Well, damn straight, we're both angels. Duh. Wow. It says 21 on my clock, and it's like 16%. I need to go recharge this. Oh my god. Oh, my butt. Oh, it's been an easy time to be alive. So, trying to plug this thing in. God dang it. Wait a sec. So, what else did you guys want to know? I think you might also find my blog on stuckonamountain.com quite illustrative, because I talked about my first biggest revelation, that I was in a terrible relationship with myself, starting about 4 years ago, I think. And it's called My Number is 6 Glasses of Wine. There's quite a story behind that. There's actually like 3 stories in one blog, as you do, but it may be very insightful for you guys. My brother wants to say how he gets a girl to get interested. I told him he needs to be interesting. We do not go for bored people. And if they are bored with themselves, I have a little video that will counteract that. Typically, I see dudes isolating themselves for no goddamn reason, like their life is just work, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to land you a date. Are you, like, in a relationship? Long distance, my friend. This is the longest I've ever stayed on alive. I have a lot of guys keeping on for the engagement thing, so thank you. And in turn, I'm very thankful to have such a good life. I have actually been cheating on bloody Facebook and Instagram because I've been on these lives more than anything else. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's scary being on an app that gamifies everything, but I'm also the only one talking. There's a fine line between interesting and weird. I don't know. Well, that... Someone likes to label things. So, yeah. There's also that question of, should I go on an online app? And I'm like, don't do it if you don't feel good about it. Also, don't be on it for more than 3 months at a time, or if not 2 months. That's like my general rule. It's mental health. And also, do not talk to people on any chat for longer than, I'd say, a week or 2. Because the people know you're on, and they want to know your intentions. If you don't announce them in time, if you don't talk about them, things will develop, but not in your favor. I've had guys who chat way too long to a girl on the actual chat. Clearly their fees are coming up, and they end up going with someone else, or like blocking them or whatever, or judging them for something. I mean, it's your time to establish that rapport, so that when you do something odd or weird or whatever, you're not going to be as judged, because she'll already know you as a person. Does anyone here want to get to know people on a personal level? That's my question. Yeah, well, Gary, I'd like to see you try this thing. It's not for the weak-hearted, let's just put it that way. Yeah, I don't mind cats. I like dogs more. A lot of people can't make out my accent. I'm a mix, guys. When I say I'm a mix and I'm exotic, does anyone actually take me at face value? Like, I swear to God, it's almost as if you're looking at a face, but the speech is like slowly being processed in the head, so that when I do say something, like, I've had it from a lot of guys, they just look at me and go, I could listen to you forever. And I'm like, but are you actually hearing me out? Like, if you're not, then your sex appeal is going to go down the drain, buddy. I get it. I couldn't do it. Thank you, dude. It's Australian. Damn right, mate. Damn right. I mean, it's as Australian as you could possibly be, and still, like, understood by people while also knowing a few languages. It's an art form. It's an art form. Extremely exotic, Anna. It's an incredible accent. Yes, anybody could listen to you forever. Yeah, but that's not kind of why I'm here. I don't like people listening to me forever and then dozing off and nodding off, and then I'm like, did you actually hear my instructions for how to cook, make your life better, improve yourself, stop being a workaholic, blah, 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 like build a family with me, for God's sake? You know what? A lot of dudes just can't even. Also, provided that once I actually had a whole bunch of discussion notes to a dude on a sticky note, because the chemistry was high and I did not want to be distracted by it. It helped. Melbourne. You mean you're in Melbourne or I'm in Melbourne? Michael says, my sister is leso and my dad is disappointed. 2 months ago. Well, you're gonna disappoint the parents at some point. You have to just accept that. If you get what I mean. Like, I've had to disappoint my parents too. Like, they did not expect that I would stay in Oz. They thought I would come back to Switzerland when I came down here for Christmas. And I just thought to myself, like, I think I seriously need to regain a sense of direction because my internship confused the absolute crap out of me. It was probably the most horrible job I've ever had. There was like a stack of things that were done. I mean, I was an expat. You don't get a lot of choice when you're an expat, at least not in that point of view. And yeah, a lot of illegal things were happening, and I was absolutely terrified about my next communications job. So I just kind of got a little bit heartbroken by the idea that I may or may not have wasted a few years of my life in a job that may not like me back. To be honest, I was just in a mood back then, and nothing's gone to waste so far. I mean, I've pulled all this up by myself mostly, so that just tells you where I'm at. My parents are still putting her... You mean her down? Poor thing. Swiss German or Swiss French? German. God damn, I've got some very informed people in this live. I just see the pain in her eyes, but I'm here for, oh, you're being a good brother. Personally, I have no idea how that stuff happens, but I've got a handful, I know a handful of people who are in fact gay, and they're great. Like, sexual orientation thing is a bit odd. I don't know if I'll ever make sense of it, but there's a lot of things in this world that is just a part of living life. So, yeah, but I do deal mostly with the heterosexual, monogamous type of relationships, so I would not be able to give any tips or advice on that end. That said, anyone give me their biggest fear or anxiety point about their love life right now. Just purge it out, splurge it. My aim is to basically neutralize that for a second and turn it around so that you can walk out of here more empowered, which is basically the whole point of the life. Well, that plus, well, it's part of what I do in attraction mindset. I mean, it's a lot of things, but, you know, just by putting in 3 key questions or 3 key challenges or what have you, there's a bit of a momentum happening when the change can happen. So, doo-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-doo-ba-dee. Thank you, Gary. It's so funny. I actually made the latest TikTok. Did you see the caption? I was like, let's aim for 100K views, guys. I would be laughing if that actually happened. Because my other one, I aimed for 15K. Well, I didn't make it with this certain aim, but I was like, universe, I would like one of my TikToks to actually be more than 200 views. And then, boom, it happened. Very accidentally. I didn't really think about it when I made it. I like to dance and I like to show a little something, but then I had to simplify the crap out of it in one of those TikToks, and that's what happened. And I thought, okay, well, that's apparently what you guys like. So my biggest fear is people talking shit and others believing it in a relationship, of course. You can't control what people are doing around you. That's obvious. But you can control your reaction to it, and you can also control how close you let some people in your life. So you need to actually get a criteria of people in your life that you can actually trust with information and trust with some support. That's what I do. That's called the inner circle. Sounds like something from Meet the Fockers, but it's real. It's an inner circle that you can actually let into your life, because you need that. You need to trust people. Like, I grew up with a dad who was not very trusting of others, and quite frankly, he was not a very trustworthy individual himself. I don't even know why Mum married him. I think she was a bit of a status seeker, because he was a pretty boy, hence the looks. But what you're looking for is loyalty and respect. So you kind of need to filter that out of people, and you have to be very ruthless about it. I've had like friends on phone calls going, why can't I talk to my friends the way I talk to you? And I'm like, baby, do you have any idea how proactively I filter people out in my life? Like, not that I am not forgiving, you need to forgive people for sure. Like, I've had so many people that I had to forgive on my way here. It's not funny. Like, you tend to chuck out blessings because you're so freaking stuck in that mud that may have come from a different situation, which is also what I go into attraction mindset. Anything that's keeping you away or blocking you off, or beliefs and old stories, we go into that. Everyone's getting all heroic with Michael. Guys, let's stop giving anyone the hero complex in this chat. That's not really what I'm here for, but thank you anyway. Losing the connection, I wasn't talking about my internet. Good stuff, dude. The clearer you are in this chat, the more you'll get out of it. God dang it. Sorry. What's the most important thing to you in a relationship? Another challenging question. I'd say respect, but I would also say appreciation. Like when a guy's 1000% respectful and I don't have to if I don't have to look my back, if I don't have to look over my back with anyone in my life, I know I've done well. Because then I know that I've got the loyalty and respect and support, and obviously a bit of appreciation goes a long way, but at the end of the day, you want the loyalty big time. That's a tough one. You need a whole bunch of things in it, dude. And by the way, I always have some interesting camaraderie in my lives whenever the dudes get back together. Good response. I try to deliver. You're not going to get any different kind of responses on any call or live that I do, ever. It's part of the reason why guys pay me, because they know they get the good shit. Literally. Tough question. Would depend on the individual. Oh, you mean about that question? It depends on your priorities. It's tough for me because I would never ever cut and slice a beautiful thing in front of me. I mean, obviously pizzas are different, but in a relationship, you need all the good stuff. You need the appreciation, respect, the loyalty, the drive, communication, like all of it. You need all of it to make it. It's never any one thing. It's a great question for an interview, though, I have to say. You're also getting a very mature woman's response here. Notice I said mature, not old. My girlfriends are now teasing me about the fact that when I talk about myself and, I feel so freaking old with so many things, but it's mostly because I'm also in partial isolation in a way. Not like I have to be. It's more that I impose it on myself because I don't want to catch anything right now. But they're like, oh yeah, because I'm 100 and, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah. Just have the best banter. But you also learn a lot from other people's screw-ups. Like, you need a potpourri with this sort of stuff. You need to, get to know a few individuals, get some inspiring models. Just now in my stories, I actually said when you follow up or friend request a girl that you like, also follow up and friend request to other people that inspire you immediately or you can relate to or something. Because then the attention comes less on chasing the girl and it's more about pacing yourself, committing yourself to a certain project. I have nothing against you viewing dating as a project in itself, because it can be. But more in terms of the work that you put into it, than the rest, than the breaks, than the learning curves, and kind of just being easy on yourself rather than, damn it, I got this answer, I don't know where to go from here, that kind of thing. Do you believe in opposites? Absolutely. The guy that I was into was no, I wouldn't say complete opposite to me, but we were completely different people. But that didn't mean that I didn't care for him any less, and it didn't mean that I was not attracted to him any less, and it didn't mean that I was going to put him down any less. It actually meant the more you get to learn off each other, the stronger the relationship is, I've noticed. And my mom keeps going on about how she and my stepdad are not compatible whatsoever. She's sad, she's a Capri. And I'm like, it's hilarious because they're actually so good for each other. They're a great match. She's all woohoo and he's very grounded, very relaxed, very chill. Yeah, anyway. So you can imagine I'm kind of doing this partially because I'm so thankful for the way that he's kind of parented me in a way. Not parented as in you can't do this and you can't do that, but the way that he set the boundaries and the way he was doing gentle parenting on me, the way my original parents could never do. Because my mum was an overgiver and my dad was kind of not really there. He was more on the embarrassing side of the scale. Things happen. So. Mum's calling again. I will probably head off at some point. You guys need to let me know if you got any other questions and stuff. Otherwise, I'll probably be back. I don't know if I'll be. I try to go on every second day or every third day, but after Christmas and New Year's, I was like absolutely wiped out. I had a dopamine crash hit actually on the 27th. It was insane. So, yeah, I hope you guys are treating yourselves well. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, for me, my mum was a great role model as well. Like I just said, you need people in front of you that show you what love is capable of. And for me, my parents are a big example of that. Like they're super kind, very giving. They're also forgiving, in spite of all the intelligence that they have and all that they've seen and perceived. Like they know how to handle things in a higher way than just getting angry at stuff and turning their backs on things and stuff, which is what my dad used to do. I'm kind of under the impression he says that he cared, but I don't know what kind of care it was, because I'm like, you don't go doing dumb stuff on your kids when you like love them. But anyway, I've seen kind and caring fathers do different things. So guys, have a great evening and sleep tight. That's cute. I barely ever sleep much, but yeah. So let me know, guys. I am more than happy to chat with you guys in the DMs, and if you guys got like a nice big juicy question as well, I will more than happily answer it on the next live, and kind of bring more stuff into it. So did I answer the thingy with the people talking behind your back? Because once you realize what you're dealing with and how to turn that story around in order to empower you and benefit you and bring in more blessings and attract the good stuff, that changes everything. So, yeah, juicy question. Thank you for the follow, Bruce Lee. Hope you guys see that I'm a human being with good stuff to give. I'm like legitimately holding the freaking phone with my tripod. I think I need to get a new phone or something, because I don't even do cases for A5 Samsungs. It's ridiculous. I'm just like, what the hell? The universe is basically telling me to go get a new phone. So annoying. And there's nothing wrong with this one, just the camera is quite old. So you guys have no idea how much energy can be put into the new stuff, the new pure stuff, once you get rid of everything that you no longer have to look over your back for. Once you get rid of people who are disloyal or disrespectful or whatever, / put a boundary with them. Sometimes people need to learn, sometimes you have to figure that out on your own. But once you figure out how to get the trash out of your life / develop boundaries and know how to say no, that cleans out your life a little bit, and you stop putting on so much focus and emphasis and energy on the stuff that is no longer necessary. Like, it's not going to serve you going forward. Going forward into the goal that you want, going forward to attract the girl into your life, the lifestyle that you want, the health, the whatever the heck you're into. Like, tell me, guys, your top 3 things that you're aiming to do, like, now. Because I can easily, in this live, tell you how to get there. And then once you've got a nice, loyal, and respectful following, you'll find that the love immediately follows. It's no longer blocked. And it's like a blessing in turn. Peace, you're a good person. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. ! !3. No worries. Happy to help. Boundaries, you mean cut them off? You can. I mean, there's so many ways to develop boundaries. My rule of thumb is like 2, basically. It's may or may not be in the masterclass, by the way, because I actually tell you how to approach a woman and also get around like whether she's reacting or not and what to do about it. And rule of thumb is 2. So you communicate the thing that you need to communicate. Hey, I am not okay with such and such. Could you do this instead? Blah, blah, blah. And if they do not listen to you and you give it 2 points, you are more than welcome to cut them off, because they're clearly not listening. They're not being respectful. They're not processing your information. I do have to say that I do find that the people who do care and they're screwing up a little bit just because they don't actually know how to love you better, they will take their time, but you'll also notice that their behavior drastically changes between maybe 1 and 2 attempts. But maybe you won't even have to say it the second time. The second time is just to reinforce things, just so that they can be like, oh, okay, so this is what I have to do. So does this make sense? I wouldn't tell you guys stuff that I haven't used myself. And it's the toughest thing in the world to stand up to your friends and family, big time. I've had a guy on a call who was talking about exactly this, and I'm like, I get it. You have to become solid within yourself and become the peace that you're trying to find. Yeah, I'm back to dry throat. That's right, Vasily. So, I find that with guys, there's definitely that bro code going on where you do not obviously give up at the first bit of challenge. In fact, that's actually what's going to boost your masculinity. It's not the pleasure shit; it's the challenge part. In fact, one of the manliest guys I know, they never blink at challenges. They go right for it regardless. Like, they prepare themselves and they go for it. And that's exactly how a woman knows that she's with a decent dude who's high value and also going for the goal, going for the challenge, going for rock and roll, basically. Because you're handling the job without flinching. And that is pretty much how I select my friends as well. Like, the best one I can tell you as well, like, even in the coaching space, we also talk about how to handle your wins and your successes. Sorry, how to handle your fails and your successes. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I picked my inner circle based off how well we could lose together. It's a big deal because you do not want to develop that ego. I've noticed that I had a lot of, I wouldn't say egocentric friends, but they definitely had a substantial amount of ego going into situations. I wouldn't say I don't have an ego. Sometimes I'm like, am I battling my own ego? Because there's just stuff that comes up and I'm like, oh crap. It's not in a bad way. It's good to be self-aware of that. That's why I think I've got one of the TikToks that says, you are your own love, self-awareness. So, yeah. We're all reaching for that mountain of confidence. Oh, yay. Big words. Big words are fun. So, yeah, what I'm really doing is getting you guys to notice that you can communicate in the DMs and that I am like open and available to hearing it out and also chatting about it. There's plenty of things going on, plenty of fears and challenges and whatever. I've had one guy put out a list of why he won't be in a relationship right now, despite the fact that he's got a cute girl on his phone. And one of them was the law thing and divorces. And I'm like, we really need to like step away from the divorce thing and stop watching what the media says, because that should be a plan B backup. It should not be the first thing that you think of when you think of long-term commitment. So is that we are grounded. Talking to people on all levels is the greatest gift, seriously. Yeah. So, I think that's more or less what I was able to say. I can give you guys some self-worth statements, such as, you do not have to be available for all the chats that you don't want to have. That's a powerful one. Introverts love it. And you are worthy of support, loyalty, respect, and love. And, probably to take it away as well, can't actually think of another one that I've got. But I think the other two are pretty powerful. It's all about your self-worth and how you see yourself and the way you respect yourself. Because the minute you respect yourself, people go, oh, holy shit, so I can't do X, Y, and Z around this person. Okay. And girls, the same thing. Like, they want to see that you don't take crap. The more that they see that you don't take crap, the more attractive you seem, because my hand's cramped. The more you see that you won't take crap from them, from anyone in the world, that means that no crap will enter the relationship as well. So it's a very attractive thing. Respect is the main one for me. Well, respect is basically how a guy knows that he's loved. That's why in one blog post, called Marriage Under Threat, they actually talk about how women refer to their partners or their whoever's as either sir or something else. It's like, it's a sign of respect. And it also means that because a guy does not want to admit his weaknesses and vulnerabilities and that's kind of like a sign that the woman respects him enough that he can screw up and fuck up all he wants. She's not going to see him as any less. Which is funny because that's what happened on one call where I had with a guy who was a bit burnt out, doesn't like to admit it and talk about it, but he did it with me because that's what people do when they trust me. And a lot of people do. That's why I'm in this space. P.S. Thank you for the 3K likes, guys. But what I was saying essentially was, like, so this and so that, and then I'd be giving him the choice. Like, that was a kind of respect to give him that choice and that opportunity to express himself better. And because that was there, I remember at some point he was very slow in processing information very slowly. I mean, he does anyway, but in this case, it was like a thing that he needed to like achieve something, at least in that chat. And apparently around me, it feels very manly. There's evidence of it. So he has to like really perform for those things, right? Not that I was asking for it, but that's how the male mind works, right? So, at some point I remember sending all these voice clips trying to express myself, and then it'd be like, please, Anya, like, slow down or something rather. And I just went, oh wow, like not only was I hearing my name for in I don't know how long, but it was also like a moment of, okay, interesting. Like he's asking this of me, wow. But the funniest thing is that when a girl's caring enough, she can't help but react to masculine vulnerability, and that's why it's so goddamn sexy to put it out there. Stuff like, I miss you, let's do such and such, or hey, I really want to take time with you, such and such. Not the feels, not the emotions, not the liking, but rather action forwards. That is incredibly attractive. I'm trying to figure out what's gonna. I'll put my hand here. Where are we in 10 years' time? Humanity, that is. That's only going to get worse before it gets better. That's why I see all the guys committing to. Sorry about my face being this close, but I'm dangling the tripod on my knee. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and I see a lot of guys committing to their women, and my joke is that before they had no reason to commit, but by committing now, they actually make life easier. Hard times create strong men. But to be honest, no one knows. And don't let the elites, don't let the media, don't let bullshit scare you off. No one freaking knows what's going to happen. I would not say that I even know what's happening. I mean, I'm going to do my own thing, regardless of whether we have some crazy battle or not. And P.S., we've already had a couple of those. The corona was a great example of the fact that we're already battling things. True, yes, indeed, propaganda. There you go. So you got the point. You create your own life, guys. You create your own love, your own respect, your own support, everything. And the more you pace yourself, but very intentionally plan things out, the better. It's pretty much how my stepdad wooed my mom, actually. He was very chill the whole time, actually. I mean, he definitely put pressure and force where he needed to, but he was very chill. And he knew exactly what he wanted, and that's what got, I think that's definitely what got him a lot of respect, the fact that he's just very ongoing but very consistent, and that's definitely something you got to take in mind. Well, what's going to win a woman and what's going to build a family in the end is actually really badly informed these days. I have a feeling that the instability of society right now is all freaking planned up because all this information is so ancient, so common sense, but the funniest part is that you are not encouraged to think with common sense anymore. Haven't been for a while, but I think I need some water. I'll see you guys a bit. Hang on. You're right. I feel like freaking Jordan Peterson. Like a university lecturer. I'll probably end up there at some point. There's so much information coming out of me. I'm actually writing a book called Hot Husband Shit. You're welcome to DM me to find out to get the next chapter. But I wrote out 5 pages of plot outline. I don't know how long that took, but I was like, that's a lot of information. But for some reason, it really didn't scare me that much because I knew that I had that info in me. It was more the fact that it all just came out like it did. And in the end, I was like, am I actually educating you guys on how to be good partner material, or am I telling you what not to do? Like, there's a lot in there, but there's actually a lot of journal prompts as well to get you like out of your head and trigger you into more action. So you mentioned masculinity earlier. Do you feel men are losing it? So this is how I see it. We all have masculine and feminine energies. All of us. Masculine is going from A to B. It's action-oriented. Feminine energy, what we're all dealing with right now, one way or another, is emotions, feelings, thoughts, passivity, pleasure, playfulness, We all have all of it in us. So I don't think that we've got a masculinity crisis. I think we have a faith crisis, like I said before, because it's more about committing to something with the faith that it will work out. And a lot of guys, even the ones proposing to their women because they think they're with their perfect partner, will think that, oh, something will happen down the track. And I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to. It's supposed to grow together. If anything happens, it's like evolution. It is historical. A lot of guys who've been married with women for like 20, 30 years or whatever, they actually say that. They're like, you're not going to be with the same woman forever because that will change. So I don't feel like men are losing it. I feel like men are at a disadvantage these days because there's not enough mentoring going around and not enough strong role models. Hello. But no, you definitely have it in you, for sure. I mean, why would I be here if I didn't believe that, like, you guys do have it? It just needs some empowering actions behind it and, like, the wisdom to know what is good in certain situations. But the other thing is, I'm also going to be putting this in hot husband shit, and I'm pretty sure I think I might just email it to you guys in the end. If you guys give me your emails, send it through the DM. That we have inherited certain social anxieties. One of them is that whole masculinity crisis. It comes from the 70s. It's actually something like the community came up with because I think they were disappointed in like men and the fact that they became more like women in terms of becoming more in their feminine energy. And that's where the masculinity crisis came from, because they believe there's not like enough male role models and men doing manly things. There are. Unfortunately, of course, you have to sort of come up with it because there's not enough problems to go around to actually fix, like substantial problems. So you kind of have to come up with it on your own. That's where the whole purpose and projects come in. Because then you can actually attract the right woman just by doing whatever, instead of manipulating and lying and coercing and and the whole being safe within yourself and knowing who you are as a man is a big deal. There's a lot of movements, especially the pickup artistry of the 90s, crazy stuff, that actually shows you how to manipulate a woman into bed, which is funny because it's like the biggest crash course to failure there is. There's mountains of guys saying that it's terrible in the long term, obviously. You're living out a lie. But because of that, because you're leading, imagine you're bleeding with some pickup artistry on the street, right? The woman senses that. And because that's going on, the hookup culture just skyrocketed because women go, oh, so if you're saying that that's normal and that's okay, then we're going to do the same thing. We're also going to extract revenge by playing you guys as well. I've done it myself. Not the pickup artistry so much, but just playing around. And that's how we got here. Because you guys actually have the big job of leading. And you have to lead it. You're leading one way or another, whether it's through stupidity, wisdom, projects, superfluous missions in life, etc. Does that make sense? Like you're leading all the time. This is just one way to build in your life. Oh, I really should have put a table here, but I couldn't be effed. What? Okay, too many people asking me about ScoMo. The hookup culture skyrocketed the 90s. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Yay! Anyone also follow Jordan Peterson? I love him. He makes really like complex stuff accessible. And he sees the younger generation. He's fantastic. And he's also completely right when he's like, you're going to be wrestling with life and things one way or another. You may as well, like if you go from divorce to divorce, you're going to segment the society, and it has. But if you do it within a marriage and you keep working at it, then you get a beautiful family. Like, actually, funny enough, my senior neighbors, I've blogged about them a few times actually because they just blew my mind off. The majority of their kids have actually married their high school sweethearts. Some of the guys have actually gone into trades, so they had like a job straight out of school. And they have the richest social and family life I have seen in anyone. And this is coming from... This is why people need the coaching thing, because no one is going to give you this mentoring, and no one's going to give you this insight and like step-by-step instructions that you can refer to all the time and even come up with new things on your own. Like I've actually got a client who's like, hey, this Upworth affirmation's really worked out. I've got a couple of my own now. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Someone got the point. It's just shocking and disturbing how much we've lost the way because of these movements that have basically destabilized society a bit. And it makes sense as to why people are eloping as well. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, you wouldn't trust the community. Why? So, like, there's nothing to trust. There's nothing to stand on. So, of course, you're going to create your own thing. My cousin did that. Can't say it was the best decision from my side, but she was very happy at the expense of a few people. And I learned a little bit of that too. Some inconvenient truths that I also made on TikTok. Step-by-step structure is what we need. Well, I give you that. I go through a lot of things, especially in the masterclass, especially in the mindset work and in the trainings. In fact, I've got 3 very potent videos in Become a Girlfriend Magnet. I had to actually make a disclaimer that you guys need to watch all the videos in order to get maximum results, but 3 of them have very potent information that you can easily use to get a girlfriend like now, like this week, this month. Have a partner for your next date. I feel like I should be playing for this. I like to give quality, like I'm big on trust building and connections, and I hope you guys feel that. That's also why I get lolled at a lot by people who are like, oh, you're taking it seriously. And I'm like, you can go get your own life, dude. This is mine. I've also had an alpha female once hijack my life. I'll never forget that. It was actually near Christmas. Actually gave me a big insight on why some people hate holidays. They suck at the giving and receiving. Tiny. I'm starting to get the impression I should probably save this and put it on YouTube later. I've actually had tons of like 2 and 3 hour lives, but this one is very decent, I would say. Oh my lord. Ugh. Yeah, the quietest live too, which is the best part. So, I also get quite a lot of dudes with insecurities that are asking about does size matter and like what if my date's asking for a certain height from a guy. I always say it doesn't freaking matter. Hand cramp, sort of. I know a girlfriend who's actually got foot cramps. I get hand cramps or whatever it is. Not quite cramps. It's like I don't know what it is. Oh god. Riley, do you know Jack Sparrow? No, I've seen him on TikTok. Size doesn't matter, and if you're a guy and don't know what that you deserve to go to relationship counseling. Like I said before, the dude world is all about measurements and quantity and competitiveness. You bond over fights, testosterone. Like I mean, I've been around boy housemates. Like I've seen how they, I've had freaking kung fu fights in my lounge room for Pete's sake. And that's how you bond. And you need the carbs and you need to be competitive and, the quantity and the measurements, they're like a big deal. But I think that it's the dude world. In the partnership world, it's a little bit different. Men learn how to bring in the feminine into their life. And actually, I've had one guy who told me that thanks to his now fiance, that he kind of learned how to deal with his mum better. Yeah, I don't know that one, Riley. So, it's what you do with it. It's always what you do with it. And if you let the woman have that much of a big say on who she's going to be with at the end of the day, you're kind of not putting enough emphasis on your own abilities and your skills, because that's actually ultimately what the woman's looking for. That's what everyone's looking for. It's what they're dying to show off to people. Like, look at this guy. Look what he did for me. Look at what we're up to. Kung Fu fights in your lounge room. Give life to life and keep Might have been karate. I can't tell anymore. Someone was doing some leg stuff, and I don't know. They were doing some bonding in their stuff. But to be honest, it's such a boyish thing. Like men do it differently, I think. Like men compete a little bit differently in the ways they provide. They don't need to actually fight. Like they get more sophisticated as they grow up. For instance, my stepdad fought to keep my mum in the country. Not that we were running around, but he just married her and he was trying to get the visa through for her. So he was calling up the agency every single freaking day, charming up whoever he had to charm, putting down details of who he had just talked to so that they could push the visa through, because obviously there's a queue for everything. If that's not a fight, I don't know what is. Similarly, there was a point where I remember my mum was causing a bit of drama. I don't remember what it was about, but he put his wallet down going, "This is not about money." And I said, "Of course not." And then he just sort of addresses on the spot my mum in the kitchen on some agenda or other. Like, he provides by being grounded and present. Like, it's unfortunate how many guys think that it's going to be about their wallets and about their homes and stuff. It's about the presence and about the space that you give. Like, that's sexy. And that's actually what women are looking for all the time. That's actually what you need from you all the time. Because if you're not providing that, then you're kind of like somewhere else. And then there's also the fight where you're either, say, parenting a little kid and telling them what's up and what's what and what's not going to happen. And the kid's like, "Oh, crap." Setting down the law. And or you provide and support to your partner by saying, "Okay, your mom / insert name just said such and such, we're going to be doing such and such." That type of thing. And it's extremely hard to fight against that. And then there's also the one where you come in and the community gossip or the news or whatever, and you're protecting. Like, for instance, I think it's a good example. I don't know if you guys will agree, but in my head, it makes sense. Britney Spears got let free, God bless her. And there was an article that I was looking in a magazine completely randomly. I think I needed to be out of the house. That stated that Justin Timberlake had in fact admitted that they had screwed before marriage or whatever it was. And in that moment, I realized that I don't know how much he cared about her or loved her, because that's not really how a man is a man around a woman. He usually protects her honor, and everything else. So by admitting that in public, that kind of gave me a reason to think that he was doing something to get some publicity on himself, because everyone knows a big celebrity is worth a lot. So by putting some dirt on that person, you get some light. Anyway, that's on the cheap side, but yeah. Hi, I'm Michael. So does that make sense? It's you support, fight, provide, profess, protect in all kinds of ways. But the most important thing is that you choose how you do it, which is what I give my clients all the time. I'm like, the high value man mindset is about the 3 Ps of protecting, the providing, and the professing all the time. But you actually get to choose how you do that, because then it's going to be on your terms. And you can pick the challenge, because all you ever want to do is a choice. All you ever want to hear is the choice. All you want to see is that you've got choice. Because then, you've got love on your side, you've got respect and loyalty. Because if someone starts to coerce you or manipulate you, like I would know as well, that's when you go offline. That's when you start to sweat. That's when you don't believe the answer that you couldn't actually get. So does that make sense? I think I gave some substantial bark there. It's also quite unfortunate how many guys that we have with high pitches in the mainstream media. Like, you have to listen to something like The Sopranos or Il Divo to listen to mature men's voices. They sound completely differently to the ones in Latin pop or R&B or anything else. Which is why, again, it's so important to actually nourish yourself with the good stuff rather than the cheap stuff. You don't want to be cheap in a relationship. The relationship is the last place you want to be cheap. I had a girlfriend whose previous hookup had the cheapest call with her on earth, basically played her the whole time, and it told me that he must feel that bloody low that he has to play with her mind and her trust in order to feel bigger. Anyway, that's exactly what he did, and I called it the most expensive call in the world, because he basically, lost her trust, and she basically told him not to ring her again. The unfortunate part is that he's not the only guy doing this. Too many men think that they've got time on their side. Sometimes it's why I've got existential crisis, because I'm like, I'm not living for the day. I'm living for the day when the government tells me I'm free. And then the sheep will shock me every time. I'm like, oh my gosh. Crazy stuff. So, are you guys cool with this info? Are there any questions or comments or anything else you want to ask me before I head off and probably have to have a call with my mum? If a man treated a woman like that, he didn't love her in the first place. That's exactly what I meant. Exactly. The crowing, the showing off, the backstabbing, the spotlight stuff. Yeah. But then, I mean, it's a celebrity thing. I just decided to make that an example of the ways that I know a man usually does what he does. Like, I know one guy who was once quite into me. We were not in a club. It was like an area where we were schmoozing around and socializing. And his friends were there, remember? And then he was like taking me around, and I could tell that he was very like rah-rah about me because he told one guy that I made the best guacamole, which I do. But the fact that he was saying this after acting like a complete bitch when I gave him a sample. What can I say? I like character in guys. I'll forever remember that moment because I'm like, what the? But it's a big deal to grow about your person. So, no, I think that's more or less it. I'm gonna go get some water, call my mum up, and probably have a shower. It's been humid in Australia. Well, in Sydney. Australia, Sydney, whatever. Sydney's Australia. I'm just gonna be the most egotistic, arrogant Sydney sider and be like, we're in Australia! No, we're not. We're freaking arrogant and up ourselves on a good day. Very pretty, but also very arrogant. I found out that one of my guys was searching for a place to propose to his girl, and it took him forever because lockdown, bad weather, picnic people were like charging him a fortune just to get it right at a time when they couldn't get it right. Anyway. Good night, Anna, and thank you. No worries. So, I think that's about it. I'll try to be on next time. I think I will probably go live on Instagram or Facebook probably tomorrow night, but I think that's more or less it. Thank you guys so much for your likes, shares, comments, follows, and gifts. I appreciate them all. And come at me again with the DMs of juicy questions so that I can answer something really good. Or not. Really up to you. It's mostly so that I can have more enjoyment. Okie dokie. I'll see you guys soon. Love you all.